change the name, change the logo, rebrand Washington football. Change the name, change the logo, rebrand Washington football. Change the name, change the logo, rebrand Washington football. More than 8 decades of the name on the national stage has inspired copycats. Let me tell you how many copycats. 93 high schools in the United States of America have the old name of the team, Redskins, a racist name, 93 high schools. And not only that, according to the National Congress of American Indians, 2,000 high schools have eliminated Native stereotypes, but more than 1,900 remain. More than 1,900 remain. More than 8 decades of peddling a Native American stereotype. Can you imagine how many millions of children have been exposed to racist stereotypes? How many Native American children have been bullied and belittled? How do these names honor Native Americans? How does this strengthen our country? How does it unite us? How does this build on the strength of our diversity? Let's really celebrate Indigenous Day coming this Monday and drop these names once and for all. We eliminated blackface, we must eliminate redface. We asked the team to help clean up its mess, to help get rid of the copycats. We asked the team to help clean up the names of 93 high schools with the Redskins name. We estimated about $100,000 per school. This cleanup would cost more than $9 million. Let's round it up and say, Washington football team, are you willing to create a $10 million fund to get rid of the Redskins names and other Native stereotypes in our nation's high schools?
It is time for the team owners to confront your racism, acknowledge your team's history in that racism, and depart from colonizer thinking and make what you do next with the name matter. Matter beyond cashing in on a people's culture. To root out systemic inequality through racism, everyone should first be seen as human, to be seen as contributing peoples to society beyond skin color and entertainment at halftime. Ridding the rest of sports from the oppressive mascots that you so firmly stood behind. The millions of dollars that were used to take control of the high schools and their mascots, sending propaganda to whoever will go along with the sham that the R word is not a slur. As the saying goes, we may forgive, but we will never forget.
I'm Ian Washburn, co-founder of Rebrand Washington Football. And over the past few weeks, I did a little research with some high schools that still have the R word for a mascot. And I communicated with some leaders in those high schools and let them know that we were trying to open up dialogue between these schools and the Washington football team. Since the Washington football team is going to have a huge amount of information obtained during their rebrand. They're going to learn a lot of things during this process, and who not better to help a high school rebrand from a racist mascot than a pro football team that just went through the process. So I have a little letter here. This is for Tanya Snyder and Jason Wright. To assist your efforts in showing a good faith commitment to reconciliation for the many decades of, quote, hurt, as Jason recently described the effect of the former name and imagery on communities and individuals, we hereby present you with 3 major educational institutions in need of a mascot rebranding. The schools are located in Pennsylvania, Texas, and Virginia.
I think this all points to the potency of activism. That sometimes you seem like you're beating your head against the wall. But what we were doing and what activists around the country were doing all these years was creating that force that once the crack occurred would cause the major flood that would change everything. So I hope this is a lesson to activists who think they're not really getting anywhere at their work, because it often seemed that we weren't getting anywhere for a few years. That we were petitioning, we were demonstrating, but all along we were building that momentum, that pressure that finally broke the wall. So I hope this is a lesson for us, a lesson for a lot of activists.
We spent years and decades trying to convince you to do the right thing, and it took the death of a black man for you to finally do it. That still drives me crazy. That still angers the hell out of me. The Indians as well, and all the other teams that changed your name. This guy had to die for that to happen. You could have been decent friggin' human beings, but you decided to go this route and go, okay, now everybody thinks we should do it, so maybe we should do it. The day that would never ever come, put it in all caps, came after a man got sat on. That still ticks the hell out of me. And Danny, they're going to take this team from you. You are one scandal away from being the LA Clippers, okay? From having this thing taken right out of your hands. So if you want to do anything that's going to keep Goodell from swiping this team from you and selling it to a decent human being, then put the money in and undo all the work you've done, all the people you paid off to support this insanity of using this name.
There are very, very few, I think it's a single-digit percentage of high schools in the United States of America that teach Native history past the year 1890. And so what this team used to do and what these high schools are still doing by their example is freezing Indigenous people in the past and giving an image to the young people of this country that freezes a whole group of people back in the past in these outdated stereotypes and doesn't give them the education to realize that Native communities are thriving, are here today, and have a bright future ahead of them.
What affected you when you were 6 years old? What affects your daughter, your nieces, your sisters, your brothers when they were 6 years old? Maybe some of them weren't so tough. Maybe some of them 6-year-olds weren't as tough as him. Maybe some of them were a little more timid. And they come home crying. They made fun of me because they called me a Redskin. They made fun of me and went, woo, 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 woo. They made fun of me. And it's not just for one day, not for 2 days, 1 week, 1 month, all year. All through that. And even right now, even into my age, still offended by that. I'm still hurt by that. I'm still mad about that. I still feel bullied about that. It's not over.
This particular song, the Lakota people wrote after the Battle of Little Bighorn, when they won against the Seven. But this song was a victory song specifically written for George Armstrong Custer. So we equate our victory over the R-Skins with that victory over that battle because it's that important. So thank you, everybody.
Na pe haska oka che se wa welo he he pe ka he han o la snecha wa ka so ta yelo he o.
Change the name, change the logo, rebrand Washington football. One more time. Change the name, change the logo, rebrand Washington football. Yeah!